It's the lies that haunt you. Not the big ones you tell the enemy, it's the small ones. The ones you have to tell your family, the ones you have to tell his family. I've relived that day 1,000 times. August 1945. I'm standing on their porch, the one I helped his father build, back on the reservation. I'm wearing my dress blues, the silver star pinned to my chest, a cane in my left hand. My leg aches, but it's nothing. Nothing compared to the weight in my pocket. They open the door. His mother, Alice, his father, Tata, they look at me, and then they look right past me, searching for the shadow that should be standing beside me. He's not with you, Jake, Alice asks. Her voice is a whisper, and I have to look her in the eye. A woman who fed me as often as my own mother, and I have to lie. No, Mastum, I say. Ben didn't make it. His father closes his eyes. Alice, she just makes this sound. A sound I will hear in my sleep for the next 30 years. He was a hero, I say, my voice cracking. The words taste like ash. He died. He died fighting. He saved us. His father nods, trying to be strong. He told us he had a special job, Jake, secret. He said it was important. I feel the sweat on my palms. I nod. It was, sir. He was a radio operator. The best we had. He was so brave. Radio operator. The lie feels like a physical thing. A stone in my gut. I couldn't tell them. I was forbidden. I couldn't tell them that their son, my best friend, Ben TSO, wasn't just a radio operator. He was a weapon. He was the secret that was winning the war. And I was the man who was supposed to protect him. And I failed. My story, our story, it doesn't start in the jungle. It starts in the dust. Arizona, 1934. My father was a traitor. One of the few white men the Navajo trusted, or at least tolerated. We lived on the edge of the reservation, and Ben, he was the chief's grandson. He was quiet. I was loud. He was thoughtful. I was a handful. We shouldn't have been friends, but when you're 8 years old, all you see is another kid. We'd run the canyons, chase lizards. He taught me Navajo words. I taught him how to throw a curveball. I remember one day, we were maybe 12. We cut our hands with my father's knife. Pressed them together. Blood brothers, I said. Ben just smiled, his eyes serious. More than that, he said. He took off the turquoise necklace he always wore. A single, perfect blue stone. My grandfather gave me this. It sits for protection. Nahazanan, Mother Earth. He tied it around my neck. Now we are KB. I wore that necklace every day. Then, December 1941. The world caught fire. We heard the news about Pearl Harbor on the radio at my father's trading post. Ben and I looked at each other. We didn't have to say a word. We were 17. I joined the Marines. My father was proud. I went to see Ben to say goodbye. He was already packing. "You're coming with me?" I asked. "I sit and going," he said. "But not with you. They sit for sending me somewhere else. A special school, for my language." I didn't sit understand. "Your language? Ben? What for?" He shrugged. "They say the DNA, the people, they say our words can fight." We shipped out. I went to boot camp in San Diego. Ben, he just disappeared. I went to Guadalcanal. I learned how to fight, how to hate, how to survive. I saw things that no man should see. I got hard. I made corporal. A year later, 1944, I was on a transport ship, heading for somewhere. They didn't tell us, just that it was going to be bad. I was cleaning my M1 rifle on the deck, my hands black with grease. "You're going to rub the steel off that thing, Corporal." I knew that voice. I looked up, and there he was. Ben TSO. Taller, leaner, but with the same quiet eyes. He was a Marine, private first class. I jumped up. I grabbed him. "Ben, you crazy son of a, where have you been?" "Around," he said, smiling. "California, Hawaii, what are you doing here?" "Same as you, Jake, heading to Saipan." But he was different. He was assigned to headquarters company. He carried a rifle, but he also had a big heavy radio on his back, and he was always with another Navajo guy. They spoke to each other in whispers. It was secret. We landed on Saipan. It was hell. It was worse than Guadalcanal. The beach was a slaughterhouse. We were pinned down behind a burned-out Amtrak. And Ben, he was calm. He was on his radio, just speaking Navajo, fast, rhythmic. It sounded like a prayer. And then, artillery. Our artillery. It started raining down, not on us, but on the machine gun nests that were tearing us apart. It was perfect. Surgical. It saved us. That night, an intelligence officer, a captain, pulled me into his tent. "Corporal Jensen," he said. He didn't look up from his papers. "You know Private TSO?" "Yes, sir, we grew up together." He finally looked at me. His eyes were cold. "Private TSO is not a radio operator. He is a code talker. He is a state secret. The Japanese have cracked every code we've ever used. The Army, the Navy, but they cannot crack this one. Because it's not a code, it's a language, an unwritten one." He leaned in. "Your job from this moment is him. You are his bodyguard. You are not to be more than 5 feet from him. Ever. You sleep when he sleeps. You eat when he eats. You will keep him alive. If the enemy gets close, you will die protecting him." He paused, and his voice got even colder. "And if you are ever in a position to be overrun, if there is any chance he will be captured, your orders are to terminate him. Then yourself. The code cannot be taken. Am I clear, Corporal?" I felt the blood drain from my face. "Shoot, shoot Ben, sir. Your orders are to protect the code. At all costs." Dismissed. I walked out of that tent, and the world had shifted. The war was no longer about taking an island. It was about the man 5 feet to my left, my blood brother, and the order in my head. If you're finding meaning in this story, in the promises we make and the secrets we're forced to keep, please consider subscribing to the channel. We honor these men by remembering. I didn't tell Ben what the officer said. How could I? I just did my job. I became his shadow. "Jake, you sir breathing on me." He said, "Joke. Shut up and walk, Ben." We moved inland, and I watched him work. My God, I watched him work. He was an artist. We'd be in a firefight, bullets snapping the leaves over our heads, and Ben would be on the radio. He'd be calling in coordinates, but it wasn't numbers. He'd say, "Dibe Yaji, seal, Dide Yaji." Lamb bird, little mouse. It was code within a code. A lamb was a machine gun. A bird was a mortar. A little mouse was a sniper. He'd string these words together, a poem of destruction, and minutes later our planes would scream overhead, or our artillery would roar, and the enemy would just disappear. He saved us. Over and over. He'd guide tanks, stop friendly fire, call for medical. He and the other talkers, they were the nervous system of the entire invasion, and nobody knew. The other Marines, they thought he was just some Indian kid talking mumbo-jumbo. Some even gave him hell. "Hey Chief, why don't you do a rain dance?" I put my hand on my K-bar knife. "You got something to say?" Ben would just touch my arm. "It's okay, Jake. They don't know." One night we were sharing a sea ration. "You're good at this, Ben," I said. He looked at the stars. "It's funny," he said. "When I was a kid, at the white school, they washed my mouth out with soap for speaking Navajo. They told me my language was worthless, that it was the sound of a savage." He looked at the radio. "Now it's the only thing that matters." We pushed north. The fighting got worse. The Japanese were dug in. Caves. Bunkers. They'd fight to the last man. Our company, Charlie Company, was ordered to take a place called Hill 721. It was a fortress. It controlled the whole valley. We went in at dawn, and it was a trap. They were waiting for us. They let us get halfway up the slope, and then they opened up. Machine guns. From 3 sides. Mortars. It was a meat grinder. Our lieutenant went down, clutching his throat. The sergeant was hit. We were pinned, cut off. We were being slaughtered. I was next to Ben, behind a small volcanic rock. The bullets were chipping pieces off it, stinging my face. "Ben, call it in," I yelled. "Call in artillery. Danger close." On our position, Ben was on the handset. He shook his head. "I can't. The big radio, the company radio, it took a hit. I can't reach regiment." "My radio," I yelled, pointing at my own back. "No, not enough range. We're in a dead zone." The mortars got closer. A man screamed. Ben looked at me, his eyes clear. "The ridge," he said, pointing up. "There's a forward observation post on that ridge. It has a high-gain antenna. I can reach regiment from there." I looked. It was 75 yards. 75 yards of open ground, swept by 3 machine gun nests. "No," I said. "Ben, no. It's suicide. We wait for support." "There is no support, Jake. We are the support." He grabbed my arm. "Look at me, K family. This is why I'm here. This is why the ancestors gave me this voice. You have to get me there." He didn't wait for an answer. He just went. "Bien." I was up, right behind him. I didn't think. I just did my job. I protected him. Covering fire, I roared to the other Marines. I was firing my Garand, ping, 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 as fast as I could reload. I was screaming. We were halfway there. Dirt was kicking up all around us. Ben was fast. He was running like we used to run in the canyons. Zizzing. A bullet snapped past my ear. Zizzing. Another. I saw the first machine gun nest. I emptied my clip into it. The gun went silent. "Go, BN, go." We were 20 yards from the ridge. 10. A sniper. I never saw him. I just felt it. A hot, searing poker in my left leg. I went down. My bone, I felt it snap. I screamed. Ben stopped. He stopped and turned back for me. "No," I yelled. "Don't you? Go. That's an order. Go." For a second, he was just my friend. Then he was a Marine. He nodded. He turned and scrambled up the ridge. I was on the ground. I tried to stand. I couldn't. I saw the sniper's muzzle flash. I rolled and fired. Missed. And then, I saw it, from a spider hole I hadn't seen, a Japanese soldier. He was out. And he was running. Not at me. At Ben. He had a grenade. Ben was at the radio. He was already talking. Yelling. "DAHE. AWOH. AKHE. Ben," I screamed. "Behind you." He turned. He saw the soldier. He raised his rifle. The Japanese soldier, he pulled the pin and dove right into the foxhole. With Ben. The explosion. It wasn't loud. It just thumped. And then, silence. The machine guns stopped. The mortars stopped. Everyone just stopped. And Ben was gone. I was crying. I was screaming. I didn't care about the sniper. I started to crawl. I had to get to him. And then I heard it. A sound like a freight train. Coming from the sky. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Artillery. A whole battalion of it. It didn't hit us. It hit the hill above us. The bunkers, the machine gun nests, the mortars. It was perfect. It was the most beautiful, terrible thing I have ever seen. It was Ben's last message. He got it through. He got the transmission through. In the second before the grenade, he had saved us. He had saved us all. I crawled. It took me 10 minutes. My leg was dragging. I got to the foxhole. He was still alive. Barely. His radio was destroyed. He was torn up. "Jake," he whispered. "I'm here, buddy. I'm here." I grabbed his hand. "The artillery, Ben, you did it. You did it." He smiled. "A little bit. I'd say," he whispered. "First," he coughed. "Blood. Tell them. I'll tell them, Ben. I'll tell them, you were a hero. No. Tell them. I was a good Marine." He squeezed my hand. His eyes were looking at the sky. Nahas-san, he whispered. Mother Earth, and he was gone. I just held him. I held my brother. I looked at my own neck. The turquoise necklace he gave me, it was gone. Ripped off in the crawl. I reached for his. It was still there. I took it off, and I put it in my pocket. Then I passed out. I woke up on a hospital ship. White sheets. The smell of antiseptic. My leg was in a huge cast. The same intelligence officer from the tent was sitting by my bed. Corporal Jensen, he said. Private TSO, I said. Ben, Private TSO is listed as killed in action, a hero of Saipan. He looked at me. You are being awarded the Silver Star for your actions. And the Purple Heart. You're going home, son. Your war is over. I just nodded. I was full of morphine. One last thing, Corporal, he said, leaning close. You did not see what Private TSO did. You did not hear what he said. He was a radio operator. He was killed by a stray mortar. His special projects never existed. The Navajo program is classified at the highest level. You will never speak of it to anyone. Not your CO, not your parents, not his. If you do, it's treason. He stood up. Congratulations, hero. And that was it. That was the moment the lie was born. I was given a medal for bravery and a life sentence of silence. I went home. I stood on that porch. I lied to his parents. I lied to my parents. I lied to everyone. How did you get the Silver Star, Jake? I pulled some guys to safety. And Ben? He was right there with me. A true hero. The years went by. The lie? It has a weight. It sits on your chest. I got married. I had a daughter. I worked at my father's store. I lived a good life. But every night, I'd see Ben. I'd see him turn. I'd see that grenade. I kept the turquoise necklace in a box with my medals. Sometimes, I'd take it out. Nahas-san. I'd drink. I'd sit in the dark and just hold it. My wife Sarah, she'd find me. What is it, Jake? What's wrong? Nothing, I'd say. Just the war. How could I tell her? How could I tell her that the greatest hero I ever knew had been erased, that I had helped erase him? Then, 1968. 23 years later. The world was on fire again. Vietnam. I was watching the news. Walter Cronkite. And after, there was a small story. A segment. The Unbreakable Code. I sat up. The reporter was standing in front of a monument. He was talking about a secret program from World War II. Navajo Code Talkers, he said. The secret weapon that saved countless lives in the Pacific. Their code was never, ever broken. Today, the program was finally declassified. I started to shake. I couldn't breathe. Declassified. The word, it was a key. It was a release. My wife ran in. Jake? Jake? What is it? Are you okay? I was crying, sobbing, for the first time since that foxhole. It's over, I said. Sarah, it's finally over. I got in my truck. The next morning, I drove all day, back to the reservation. I stood on that porch. It was older, more weathered. I knocked. The door opened. It was Alice, his mother. She was an old woman now. Gray hair, deep lines in her face. But her eyes, they were the same. She looked at me. Jake, I hadn't been back in 20 years. Hello, Alice. She let me in. His father, Tada, had passed away 5 years earlier. We sat in the living room. His photo was on the wall, in his uniform. I have something to tell you, I said. My hands were shaking. I reached into my pocket. I pulled out the turquoise necklace. Her eyes went wide. This was Ben's. I lied to you, Alice, I said. The words just came pouring out. I've been lying to you for 23 years. I was ordered to. It was treason to tell you. Ben wasn't just a radio operator. I told her everything. I told her about the code, about the Dini language. I told her the words he used. Lamb, bird, little mouse. I told her about the hill, the machine guns. I told her how he ran, how I was the one who was shot, how he turned back for me. I told her about the grenade, and I told her about his last message, how he got it through, how he called down the thunder, and saved every one of us. His last words, I said. My voice breaking, he said, Atsay, first. And he said, Nahazan, Mother Earth. He died a warrior, Alice. He died a legend. I was a mess. I was ashamed. I waited for her to yell at me, to hit me. She took the necklace from my hand, and she smiled, a small, sad, proud smile. She put her hand on my cheek. Oh, Jake, she said. I knew, a mother always knows. You knew? I didn't know what, she said, but I knew he wasn't just a radio man. I knew my son was special. The government, they tell their secrets, but the ancestors, they tell the truth. I've just been waiting for you to be allowed to tell it too. She looked at me. Thank you, Jake. Thank you for finally bringing my son home. I left that house a different man. The weight, it was gone. Ben finally got his honor. They put his name and the names of the other talkers on plaques. They got medals, most of them long after they were gone. But for me, the lie was finally over. I can sleep now, and sometimes, when the wind blows just right, I can still hear it. The sound of my brother's voice, speaking the words that won the war.